The following is a Galactic Network podcast. For more, go to gncast.com. That's gncast.com.
Hello and welcome to Who Knew and Review, a podcast from the Galactic Network. Okay, so we'll begin as we always do when the show is on with my little review. And with all my reviews, I will give the synopsis, the good bits, the bad bits, the most universal bit according to myself, and any random thoughts, musings, or things that I steal from other sites online that I pass off as my own. What? You didn't notice? Not all of it. I do change a few of the words. Anyway, I digress. You see, we'll begin with the synopsis, and then we'll see where it leads us. Here goes. Earth has been invaded and Bill is living alone, an isolated figure surviving in occupied Britain. The Doctor is imprisoned and appears to be on the side of the enemy, flooding the airwaves with fake news. Bill and Nardole must embark on a deadly mission to rescue the Doctor and lead the resistance against the new regime, or whatever the cost. So, let's look at the good bits. Well, I think the good bits really is Peter Capaldi and his evil fake news Doctor. Genuinely creepy. If Capaldi doesn't end up on an episode of Black Mirror, then there's something wrong, because his performance was absolute knockout. The bad bits. Right, where do I begin? Well, I'll begin, of course, like everyone else would, with the fake regeneration. No, Doctor Who, no. And the most universal bit, well, it's nice to get quite a few references squeezed in. My particular favourite was the Magpie Electronics shop. Now that made me smile and whoop a little bit. It's very good, nice little callback. And it's good to see that Magpie possibly had a family and the business is still running. Way to go, Magpie. So, here goes for the review. I really liked Lie of the Land. Toby Whitehouse did quite a good job, to a point, and I think we know what that point is, and that is the fake regeneration. Up until then, there was lots to enjoy. Capaldi is, well, his quite creepy, sort of dark take on the Doctor was splendid, and we're given the impression that he's been brainwashed by the monks. He genuinely had a lot of fun with it. He does dark and brooding quite well. We get a little bit less of Nardole, although Matt Lucas is such an accomplished actor, he does manage to get the very, very best from his role. He fills it out quite well, and even though at the beginning of the series I wasn't particularly sure, now I want a Nardole spin-off show. A slightly puzzled, grumpy Englishman. The way that this episode was paced up until the fake regeneration, we get a proper pervading sense of doom. We also get the very best Pearl Mackie performance yet. Bill isn't quite the wide-eyed, chip-cooking, new-to-it-all character of the first few weeks, and here she manages to convey fright, bewilderment and sorrow in a very, very rounded piece of acting. I sort of hope after Christmas, when Peter's gone and we get to the new encumbrant Doctor, that she sticks around for a series. I'd like to see a little bit more of her, and I'm hoping in the episodes we've got to come we get quite a lot more. But still, the elephant is in the room, the fake regeneration. The moment when things changed. There was a brief fragment of a second where I wondered if it was a genuine rug pull and whether we are going to get a regeneration and then the following episodes be a sort of backwards pedal looking at things that we didn't know had happened between Bill, the Doctor and Nardole. But no, it was a fake. And once that was revealed, once Capaldi outstretched his arm and we got the burst of what looked like regeneration energy, things just sort of unravelled. Now, what is this with regeneration? It used to be the Time Lord has some particular kind of trauma and regeneration happens. And then we got Sound of the Drums with the Master who refused to regenerate, and that felt like a bit of a damp squib, like they have some sort of choice over it. And since then we've had little bits of regeneration energy given off to mend wrists. And then we get a fake regeneration. And it just didn't sit right. I thought it was a lame cop-out. There was absolutely no need for it. Bill doesn't fully know what regeneration is. I don't think there was any need to include it. And I think it actually spoilt this particular episode. So then we get through the next 20 minutes or so of, well, it just didn't fit. It just didn't. What am I trying to say? It was rubbish. The last sort of 20 minutes was rubbish. The Doctor's brain strength alone can't overcome the monk's power, but we plug Bill into the mix and hey, job done in precious little screen time. Do me a favour. Bye, monks. Yeah, she's had a memory about an imaginary friend. It just made me seethe. I mean, we never fully learned the monk's reasons. You know, they might as well have not been there, truthfully. I think a good introduction to a monster in the first one, in Extremis. A great fleshing out of them. This sort of omnipresent, all-seeing, all scary, and then they just might as well have not happened. There are plenty of things to like from Light of the Land, but it was a frustrating episode, one that didn't quite pay off. And the first half was so good. It was 1984. It was Clockwork Orange. It was dystopia. It was oppression. It was, and then that happened. I don't think a three-parter like that really works for Doctor Who, which is a shame. A great shame. But still, it's out there. So how many TARDISes out of 5 do I give it? Well, it was half a good episode, so it's 2.5 TARDISes. I hope that doesn't seem mean. If it does, you can always email me, tardis@gmail.com. So, next week's episode, well, I will tell you about that in the news section, because I've got a little snippet on that. But yeah, the sooner we get over this week's, the better.
Hauntings, sky sounds, parallel universes, monster sightings, the New World Order, ghost ships, urban legends, mysterious radio broadcasts, and secret government facilities are just a few things we've talked about on Weird World Weekly. Listen to find out what's next. Go to gncasts.com/weird to listen, find out more, and subscribe to the podcast that discusses the paranormal, mythological, conspiratorial, unexplained, or anything else we think is a little strange and out of the ordinary. Also, Matt's continuing search for turkey recipes. It's all on Weird World Weekly, part of the Galactic Netcast network of shows, also available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Let's do the news! We're going to start off with an odd one this week, because it's not quite Doctor Who, but I think it's worth a mention. And that is the Paddington 2 trailer is out, and everyone is back in it. These are people that I'd actually quite like to see in Doctor Who at some stage. Hugh Bonneville, Ben Whishaw, Jim Broadbent, Sally Hawkins, Julie Waters, and of course, Peter Capaldi. I mean, okay, there's Hugh Grant and Brendan Gleeson, but it's got Peter Capaldi in it, and if you haven't seen the first one, then you should, because Peter Capaldi is actually quite an awesome actor, and, you know, I sort of fangirled a little at the trailer. I've popped a link in the show notes, of course. So next week, next episode, the Ice Warriors return to Doctor Who in The Empress of Mars. Their reappearance is quite apt, as these creatures celebrate 50 years in Doctor Who. So to add to these celebrations, a relic from their very first appearance in 1967 has been rediscovered. Thought lost in the midst of time. You see, Matt Doe of Toy Box Treasures has painstakingly preserved a fantastic Ice Warrior helmet, an original one, and it's a thing to behold. If you're into prop building, then check out the link. The fact that it's survived 50 years is quite special. It's a testament to how well the props are built. I quite like it. I think you should have a look too. You might like it also. Now, after the success of Doctor Who Series 1, the Steelbook, featuring Chris Eccleston and Billy Piper, they're going to release another Steelbook starring David Tennant and Billy Piper. The 3-disc Blu-ray box set with, frankly, some of the most stunning artwork by designer Lee Binding contains all Series 2 episodes plus bonus features, a little bit of Doctor Who Confidential behind the scenes tour, and also separate art cards. The separate art cards would look great framed put on a wall. I don't get any money, if you can find it, buy it. It's a thing of beauty. And I think we should celebrate beauty. Things we shouldn't celebrate is the spin-off class. As you can recall, I was quite... I didn't think it was particularly that good, looking back on it. If I was to watch it again now, I'd say it was worse than when I first saw it. And it looks like Doctor Who spin-off class is no longer in session. Show creator Patrick Ness has tweeted to say he will no longer be writing any more episodes of the show, putting the future of the series into doubt. The series premiered on BBC Three Online and was given a BBC One air date at the start of this year, but author turned screenwriter Patrick Ness revealed on Twitter on June the 4th that he's decided to stop writing for the show. Truthfully, I think it's for the best. That show was never great. It just missed something. And probably the Doctor. Right, so we've had the conclusion to the Monk's storyline, and it seems the Doctor is in much more difficult territory if we watch the first trailer of Empress of Mars. The Time Lord and his companion Bill face Ice Warriors, Victorian soldiers on Mars! So, it's just a standard Doctor Who then, as Bill asks whether they were Ice Warriors in Victorian times. The Doctor points out that they weren't, and the mystery goes from there. This is the Mark Gatiss episode, which is coming up and will be reviewed next week, and it looks fantastic. It looks atmospheric, and the Victoriana, well, it's steampunky, your heart out. So, that leaves us with the synopsis for Eaters of Light. Now, the title has been around for a while, and there was lots of guesses as to what it was. So now, we are lucky enough to have the synopsis, which reads like this, and you'll hear this in a couple of weeks' time. Oh yes. A long time ago, the 9th Legion of the Roman army vanished into the mists of Scotland. Bill has a theory about what happened, and the Doctor has a time machine. But when they arrive in ancient Aberdeenshire, what they find is a far greater threat than any army. In a cairn on a hillside is a doorway leading to the end of the world. Well, there we go. That is Who Knew in Review for this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to think about, spending $1 a month and helping us out with our costs. Patreon campaign. There's links to everything. I might even have that in a little advert bit that runs after this that tells you all about our shows. To be honest, I can't remember. If there is anything I've missed out, any bits of news, do email me or tweet me. Again, those details are coming up. You could leave a voicemail message on our main website. I can't remember the number because it's one of those big, long, weird American ones. Or you can use the SpeakPipe app and actually leave a message that way without the cost of a call. Anyway, that is everything for this week. I'm sure there was something else. There's something else, I'm sure. Yes. Just a shout out to Sherbs. He's one of my Twitter followers. He also didn't like the regeneration, and it made him quite angry, so much so that he sent me a direct message. You follow at WNAR_podcast, I follow you. It's a way we can talk. Or you could use our Speak app. Anyway, many thanks for downloading this podcast from the Galactic Network. We have so much to offer. Maybe it's horror or adventure gaming. Perhaps you just like to listen to a couple of nerds geeking out. Well, if that's the case, then visit gncasts.com. That's gncasts.com, and have a good poke around. You'll be surprised what you find. Maybe you'd like to chat to the hosts. If so, then why not sign up to our Slack channel? Or simply you want to tell us what a great job we're doing. That's gncasts.com. If you've listened this far, I totally intended to play a little bit from the Sci-Fi Survival Guide. I played it again just so you know it was deliberate. Goodbye!
This has been a Galactic Network podcast. For more, go to gncast.com. That's gncast.com.